So, good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the portrait study series where we continue to draw. And, like I was telling you before, thousands of these drawings constantly. It's so much fun to do, okay? So, I'm going to start with this wonderful model. This is a model study. So, let's begin to draw this. And if you see here, once again, a reference point is a very good reference point. Once again, I want you to observe how I'm visualizing the lines and then drawing them. So I'm going to start with this right here. Okay, so it must be, let's say, and I figure it's going to be around, I have a good idea of how this is going to be. So I already see it right here. And I see that it's going to come down this way. The ear is going to be here. I'm going to have her like this. The chin, and then it's going to be here. And it's going to come up this way. So I have a good idea of where it's going to be, and that's how I visualize it first, okay? So let's begin, and I'm going to show you exactly. I'm going to begin with the forehead. Once again, you can start with anything, but it's a good place to start right here. And I'm not worried about the size or how big or large the face is going to be, because the proportions are important. So there is I want to get her face is going to be a little bit bigger, and I want to make it like so. Okay, so now we have this here. And you see how I'm stopping right there? I know that this is where, and there's another way to do this, is to draw a line here like this, so you can judge exactly where everything's going to be. And this time, you want to make sure that these distances here are placed correctly, so they have enough room for you to put the eye in here. And you can always draw a line first, because the eye is like that, and it's going up like that. Tiny line, okay? And then we come down to the nose. Once again, I'm going to build on this middle line here. This is another way of doing it. So there you go. And this time I have a guideline for me to follow, a map. So there is that, okay? Now this is the first part. I'm going to do this in two parts. So we're going to first do the initial layout. And I'm going to always use an eraser and come back to it later, but let's go down. And if I bring this line straight down like this, you see I have a line here. And if I'm going to bring this line straight down, I can make a judgment of where the mouth begins, and it's right here. But I'm not worried about this yet, but I want to be able to make sure that this is correct and this is correct. So I'm going to lay those distances, map them correctly, then come right down, bring the line down to the end of the chin, and make a little mark. Okay, but as I can see, I'm making a judgment. I know that this is a little bit too close. So we go to the eraser, we're going to take this off, and we're going to go back here and widen it up a little bit so it matches, it's proportionate, something like this. And this is coming here like this and like that. Now I have a much better idea of how to continue with this, right? So now I'm going to come down here with the cheek, down to the chin. And since I made the mark, I can make that little bend here and go back up. Now at this point, once again, I want to try to get an overall feel for this of her. So I'm trying to get the outlines established to match hers right here. Okay, so I'm making these judgments right there. If you see this here, And where does the ear begin? So I want to make sure that the eyebrow is right there. My line guides it, right? I have a line right there, which I did already, and it's right there in the middle. So now I have that line to follow. There's a bend here, and then you go this way, and the ear is right about here. Because the eyebrow is here, the ear begins here, you come down this way, and there. And the neck is going to be right here, and this is what this is. Okay, there it is. That's much better, and we're getting a little bit closer. Once again, we're going to do this in two parts. This is part one. So there you go. Now I established a little bit closer. Now I'm going to work with those bends and work with those details and go back and look and see if everything is in proportion. So this is my second revision to what I was doing. Okay, so I'm revising it the second time, and there you go. You see, I'm going to go back and say, wait a minute, the hair. It's a good idea for you to call out, so it'll bring you into the into the present. It's going to bring you to this particular shape right here. So if you say hair, that helps you to focus on the hair, and the lines. So you're not worried about anything else, but like thinking about this. Is that. See, this is what I want to be able to get those shapes right there. Get that. Okay, now I quickly want to be able to establish the rest of her, which is the mouth, because now I know this is where it's going to go, so I know how thick her upper lip is and the lower lip in proportion, right? So you're going to measure those things correctly. If it's a thin, is it thinner? Is the upper lip thinner than the lower lip? You're going to figure all that out and stay on the lips. And once again, you can call out and say lips, cheek, chin. That's going to help you to focus on it. So do that, and then we're going to go up here to the chin. There's that little bend there, okay? Now, and then we come back up here. Now that we laid these lines for guides, we know exactly where the eye is going to be starting and ending. So I'm following those guidelines that I laid earlier. So here it is. That's where the eye is, but it's not completely perfect, but we're going to come back and fix it. So there is that. I want to be able to have all these laid out so I can work on them and fix them, and I'll have a better idea of where everything should be. Okay, so that's my intention right now. So there it is. There's the eyes, and right like that. And so we're going to have to push this eyebrow up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to make these kinds of adjustments as the minute you start laying down the forms, you will then see that you're going to have to make other corrections to it. And that's the way it works. A portrait is kind of hard to do because the likeness is very important. So you must be able to feel free to make the corrections always and come back and revise and double check and redo and all that. So see, now it's coming close up to the way she looks. Am I happy with the nose? Must be a little bit wider here. So these are the kind of judgments you want to make as you do this, all right? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to a little time problem here. Please definitely subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button and subscribe. It's free for you to do that. It's going to support the channel. I'm going to be putting a lot more of these videos, and we're going to do this in part 2. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to continue to finish this in the next round. So there I have the basic layout of this drawing, and I know exactly where everything is going to go. So in the next part, we're going to work on the details. We're going to start shading, bringing the form out, popping everything up. Okay, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.